Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the MALT Round of 16 weekend. We're back at it again with another very exciting match for you all here tonight as we make our way through the losers bracket once again. We have Orcanos going up against yellowbadbeast in what is hopefully going to be a very exciting elimination match. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Dynascape. Dyna, how you doing?
Doing great. As always, Sparky, thank you for that wonderful introduction. Yeah, we've got an interesting matchup here with Orcanos and yellowbadbeast. I believe both of them have already gone through their warm-ups. And looking at both of these players, yellowbadbeast seed 14, Orcanos seed 30, it feels like both of them don't like noodles. We got a couple of noodle haters in the lobby, so it should be interesting who turns over to the dark side at some point during the set.
Yeah, there's always a turncoat in there somewhere. I mean, to be fair, they could both handshake it and just somebody quickly 5-0s the other on Rice, and we just never have to deal with that question. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, we already see Orcanos with the LN ban. Kinda want to see what yellowbadbeast has in store because honestly, I think yellowbadbeast performs a bit better on LNs. Still, in their only match they have played, they did ban LN last week. We're just gonna have to see.
Yeah, it's always an interesting question when both players in a match dislike a particular skill set. If one ends up feeling confident enough to maybe venture into that quote-unquote dark side that you mentioned, and who knows, maybe they pull a fast one over their opponent and find a decent avenue away from usual fare that they might find themselves in.
Oh, for sure. And I think that the two LN maps that are left here, honestly, I do really like them. I like the songs. I like the way the patterns are and the way they present themselves. We will see yellowbadbeast go with the Rice 5 ban. That's Oikaki, the mixed Rice pick. And I kind of understand that. It's pretty hard, a lot of patterns thrown at you, and very, very difficult to juggle around.
Yeah, for sure. So before too long, one of these two players will have to willingly pick a hybrid or LN map. It'll be very interesting to see which of the two blinks first, and it is going to be yellowbadbeast going for hybrid 1 to start things off here on Marionette.
Yeah, Marionette, a pretty fun one as well. A lot of fourth LNs introduced at a pretty fast rate as well. I think 165 BPM, so definitely gotta get the blood pumping, the fingers moving here.
Yeah, the good thing is that they did take care of their warm-ups before we got the stream started. You might have heard it playing in the background while we were getting everything set up. So maybe they've gotten some of the anxiety, some of the nerves out during that warm-up, but well, it'll be interesting to see which of these two players comes out on top as we make our way into this first map of this best of 9.
I do like this pick from yellowbadbeast. It always is pretty interesting when you see someone bring out a hybrid for the first map of your match. You know, a lot of people do tend, especially in these levels, these lower levels of gameplay, you know, where you're just kind of starting to find your identity in the way that you like to play 7K. Hybrid is a pretty interesting one. Maybe yellowbadbeast is just the most comfortable, maybe the best score on it.
Yeah, that or maybe they just don't want to commit to one dedicated skill set one way or the other. And as we make our way through this introduction, actually faring a little bit better in these overall accuracy trades as both players cross that 400 combo cap, currently holding on to about 5 times over % of a lead. But yellowbadbeast finding the first break as the LN really starts to ramp up before toning back down going into the second quarter of the chart, and it's going to hand Orcanos a bit of a lead to work with now.
Thankfully, advantage is still in play for yellowbadbeast. I don't think a trade is necessarily needed for them to get back the point, but Orcanos still in the driver's seat right now and steadily rising their accuracy as well. It's pretty close overall, 98.9 over to a 99.1, and there's still about half of a map left. That lead is about 4,000 points over the Orcanos' sides, and we got a pretty funny trill here. Both players clear it quite easily, and we get into the streams.
Yeah, and on to the back half of the map, and on that transition into the back half, Orcanos eventually does find himself trading a couple misses back to Yellow Bad Beast here, and Yellow Bad Beast is actually able to take that lead back single-handedly off the back of their accuracy. Despite finding a little bit of damage, it is responded to in kind with a couple of misses as well from Orcanos. So no harm, no foul from the earlier drops, and this one to boot is going to help bring this lead up to about 9,000 points and change as we continue into this last quarter.
Yeah, Orcanos definitely struggling here. Those staggered misses really are not going to help that overall score out. Finding themselves swimming with the fishes right now. 98.4 Yellow Bad Beast a bit further ahead at a 98.64, but as we get into the last couple of notes in the map, a 15,000 point lead over the Yellow Bad Beast is pretty much insurmountable at this point.
Yeah, for sure. It was a valiant effort. It looked a little bit dicey there, early goings, but Yellow Babby is able to really compose themselves from that early drop and basically FC the rest of the chart. Very impressive overall, despite the fact that Orcanos actually had the ratio advantage, 451 to 513. Just really unfortunate not to be able to make it through the rest of that chart unscathed.
Yeah, and I think that both of these players did a very, very good job in holding combo for as long as they could. Some very, very large combos here. It's just that a lot of the 200s made up for why they had around like those mid 98 accuracies by the end. So maybe something to clean up later on, but Decipher going to be picked immediately by Orcanos. That's going to be the tech map.
Yeah, immediate response, wanting to dive back up into the upper half of the map pool. Normally, pretty good strategy if you are more rice inclined, but when your opponent is also willingly able to throw down on the rice picks as well, this is going to be a battle of potentially ratio if they're both able to keep a clean run going. Not a very long map, so mistakes will be punished immensely compared to some of the other maps in this pool.
Yeah, I'm really glad you talked about ratio, Sparky, because one thing I was looking at during the qualifier seedings for these two is that both of them were basically right next to each other in Rice 1. That was the chord jack pick named Conch. And so I think that later on, maybe Orcanos can stride over to Chupri, or if they really feel it, something like, I don't know, maybe Baby as well, if this one doesn't turn out too good for Orcanos. But just for now, keeping a slight lead in terms of accuracy. Very light start, but it is something.
Yeah, as introduction, a bit of a primer for what is to come. Definitely not venturing into some of the more densely packed technical maps that these players might encounter later on in this tournament, but definitely enough to give you a spot of bother if you're not too careful. You see these chords interspersed through these single note streams. Very important to make sure you keep your columns correct as you read your way through them. Very easy to find little accuracy drops here and there as you maybe fumble your way through to try and keep your combo intact. And right now we're seeing the accuracies begin to even up just a little bit here. Orcanos still ahead by about 500% as Yellow Babbies actually finds a 200 in the transition. The snap starts to get a little bit more varied, and it takes them out. The full combo is now officially down on the side of Yellow Badbeast, and this gonna give Orcanos a bit more of a cushion to work with as they begin to balloon this lead to about 15,000 points.
Yeah, these patterns are so scary, but Orcanos is just doing so well on them. These little like finger independent patterns are really hard to navigate, especially when you have to trill in the transitions. And Orcanos actually finding a break in a much slower part. Still a very big lead, huge ag lead, as well as got a good portion of it through the first 2/3 of the map. And with only about a fourth left, I think there's only one chord stream section left. So Yellow Bad Beast does have a lot to make up. No room for error here.
Yeah, those outer column crisscrosses. Ooh, Yellow Babby is actually finding a drop on the transition back into the chord stream here. Still relatively light, not the fastest things in the world, but can definitely take you for a bit of a ride if you're not too careful. And another couple of drops to boot, gonna bring him down to that low 98% range. It was a valiant effort as Orcanos and Yellow Babby is actually finding a trade here very late on, but Orcanos doing enough to stave off any potential advances. That beginning was outstanding for them, and they managed to notch it up 1-1 now.
And again, Orcanos with the better ratio and also the better 200 count, just every single judgment possible. That's what you want to see, and a really, really good showing here. Orcanos should be uh, very confident, and primed to go on those other two picks that I talked about. But for Yellow Bad Beast, it's their time to pick, and a couple of question marks in the air here as they try to decide what kind of thing they would want to do. Maybe LN2 or LN3. look appetizing at this point.
Oh, but instead it's gonna be Rice 3 coming out instead. So maybe rolling the dice a little bit on a potential risky pick, given the level of performance that Orcanos was able to put out on Rice 4. But Korjak, you were alluding to it earlier in terms of the qualifier results. Very evenly matched between these two, if I do recall correctly.
Yeah, I think both of them separated by about something to 1,500 points. They're right next to each other in the seedings. Yeah, yellowbadbeast placed 7th, Orcanos placed 8th. It should be very, very scary because I think we're like around that difficulty at this point. Maybe the next round is more telling, but I mean, Orcanos has really shown their really good MA, so this one should be scary. I mean, a couple of misses might do it in for this map, so both of them have to be at the top of their level.
Yeah, for sure. This is the type of map, the style of map where a singular thing, it doesn't even have to be a miss sometimes. It can be as little as a 200 to really send things spiraling out of control one way or the other. It'll be very interesting to see how both these players hang on. And these are immaculate starts to the start of this chart, both hovering in that 99.9 range, separated by 200% as we play a little bit of tug of war with this leaderboard going into the second quarter of the chart now.
And one thing that scares me that I now just realized is there are a couple of very scary spacebar anchors in this map. I think it shows up around the halfway portion as well as the 3/4 ish, but that's something to look out for. Yellowbadbeast taking the first miss of the map and a pretty clean one overall, but Orcanos is shining right now, 99.9. Very good lead from them.
Yeah, and that's the little hiccup I was talking about. It's just little moments in these types of maps that can really set forth a bit of an avalanche as they both start to trade now going into the back half. You were saying the spacebar really starts to make its appearance here, and it's starting to catch out the players, but they're able to clean it up just a little bit here. The accuracy is now evened up, and there's no real combo to take advantage and grow this lead out for either side, but it is still 7,000 points, 6,000-ish in favor of Orcanos for the moment.
Overall, I'd say both of them were doing just fine at around this density, but I think both of them really missed when it hit like the 5s and 4s in successive counts, and more of these spacebar anchors coming in. Yellowbadbeast failing on pretty much the last one, taking yet another miss. So Orcanos with the miss and accuracy advantage, 15,000 points to their name. And as we try to close out this map, Orcanos looks to take this break point and the lead.
Yeah, very impressive run overall. Yellowbadbeast not too far behind, able to keep all the drops clean, but unfortunately not able to keep them to a minimum compared to Orcanos. And like you were saying, Orcanos going to take breakpoint with a little fumble here at the end, but still able to cling on to about a 13,000 point victory. Very good runs overall. How do you... This is the thing with Korjaks.
That's like the quintessential Korjak score. Yeah, like there's nothing else to describe scores that can come out from Korjaks except a V1 SS. If it were not for the 5 misses.
You know what, everybody, just put your finger over the 5. Yellowbadbeast V1 double S, but you know, score calculations, this game kind of it's getting up there in age. Like, come on, it just miscalculated. Come on.
Exactly. Orcanos coming out with the Rice 2 pick. So we're gonna see a lot of these Rice picks exhausted. Only Boxel Adventure left after this, but Orcanos should be feeling really good about this right now. Juan on Decipher pretty handily, Juan on Chupri off of the back of 5 misses from Yellowbadbeast, and I think that this is more in line with Decipher. So I'm gonna have to see what happens here.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. Barring a few hiccups here and there, Yellowbadbeast has been very competitive on these Rice charts overall. It's just really whether or not they can put together a run to compete against Orcanos, because they have had their numbers so far on these Rice maps. See if they can go 3 for 3 on them. As we get into Rice 2 now, it is going to be Baby coming out, and an opportunity for Orcanos to capitalize on this breakpoint that they have found themselves given.
Yep, and again, this is the Chord Stream pick. It is at 110 BPM, so a lot slower than the Chord Stream seen at the end of the Cypher, but admittedly, it's a lot more dense.
Yeah, it's usually the trade-off as Orcanos actually finding a very early drop here. Gonna give yellowbadbeast a bit of cushion to work with now as they begin to grow this lead. It is before that 400 combo cap, so not a potential score advantage that they could have eked out. And before I even finish that train of thought, yellowbadbeast is actually trading back a couple misses and shipping the lead back over to Orcanos as we continue on here into the second third of the chart.
It's really, really hard to juggle through all of this. We saw on Chupri, you know, a lot of misses over this weekend even during a lot of the more dense sections. When the 4s, 5s, and 6s come out, and that's what we're seeing right now. I think Orcanos is tanking the damage a little bit better than yellowbadbeast, but there's still a lot more chart left to go yet. We get into this break section, 12,000 points, the difference between Orcanos and yellowbadbeast. Something's gonna have to happen.
Yeah, and there's still plenty of time to do it after we get through this break. It begins to pick up once again. If yellowbadbeast can keep it clean through these last maybe 40 seconds of this chart, and Orcanos maybe catches an unfortunate miss here late on, there's still a realm of possibility. It is starting to shrink here just based on the accuracy alone. yellowbadbeast starting to build it up just a little bit here within about 0.3%, and 9,000 points is the margin between the two players going into the last quarter of the chart. And there's the miss from Orcanos, and another one to boot. It is now 3,000 points. yellowbadbeast is making their comeback here with about 1,000 points left to go. They begin to start tugging at the lead here as Orcanos finds another drop, not answered back this time around. Last 8th of the chart still left to go. They're still at an accuracy deficit, but they have the score advantage. Can they hold on here?
It doesn't seem so. Last LN and Orcanos unfortunately takes another drop. I think once the brackets started showing themselves a little bit more, Orcanos found like a lot of dirty drops there, and we see there 2 100, 6 misses, unfortunately, and they're a lot more spread out than yellowbadbeast. Had the accuracy advantage, but just not the combo to back it up, and that's why yellowbadbeast ran away with it with an 8,000 point win.
Yeah, very close overall, and that's the kind of performance yellowbadbeast needed to pull out here. They had a couple of unfortunate misses in some of the earlier charts, and that back half on baby is what they're going to need to do for the remainder of this match if they want to right the ship a little bit, and they're going to go for LN2 here.
Okay, so maybe thinking about Voxel Adventure, the last rise pick, but going with Sanctuary instead. This is the coordination pick, so I do think that maybe yellowbadbeast overall has a slight edge, maybe the slightest of edges, but we're gonna have to see here. Orcanos has been very, very good in terms of just MA and keeping the 300 and 200 count at a minimum. So when you see a lot of these short tails come out in this map, I think that Orcanos can maybe find their way back in.
Yeah, it'll remain to be seen. We are now in what is effectively a best of 5 situation, all tied up 2-2 here. Everything resetting once again. yellowbadbeast on Sanctuary, their pick, and we start off here virtually tied. I mean, this is going to be the majority of this chart, just slow LNs to chew through, and it is so easy when you have these anchored LNs to just slip on at any given moment.
yellowbadbeast currently the slice of leads that Grace not catching anyone out. Not a lot of the short LNs that I've talked about coming in yet, but definitely towards the back half of the map you'll see a lot more of those, and I think that that's where a lot of the accuracy drops will go. Both players around that 99% mark for now, and Orcanos actually taking a big hit once the density jumps. yellowbadbeast trading it back, but Orcanos giving him another one for free. All of them actually a lot of misses from the both of them. It seems like both of them are just struggling on this pick.
Yeah, they're quickly finding out that this LN chart really does have some hands as we continue on. Both of them really riding the struggle bus at the moment down into the 96 and 97% marks respectively. You were saying when this match started that neither of these two really opted for the LNs last weekend, and we're starting to potentially see why. But right now, able to cobble together some semblance of combo on both sides. Orcanos just now crossing again, be able to extend this lead that they have found themselves with for the moment, about 18,000 points and climbing, as yellowbadbeast looking to start to climb back up over, successfully making it now and able to stem the bleeding just a little bit, potentially on the comeback trail if they are able to withstand this ending and Orcanos find some unfortunate misses.
Only about a 15,000 point difference in it, although it seems like a pretty large lead, all things considered, and from what we've seen in this map, with Orcanos taking this break, I think that in general, it has been very, very volatile overall, so things can shift over to yellowbadbeast in this last couple of sections. I mean,
Okay,
3,700 points, and oh, he takes a break. So Orcanos again, a decent lead. I have to
that
see how this one ends.
that was such a slow burn. Seeing the score lead dwindle down to about 4,000 points, and then that transition just hit like a truck. As yellowbadbeast found the combo break on Orcanos, manages to pick up another break point here, but it wasn't without contention. These LN picks are going to be very interesting if they continue like this, but it is going to be Orcanos up to pick.
It's
Oh, they
been
thought the map ended.
oh no, that is not what you want to see, and maybe explains why they have so many more breaks than Orcanos. It feels like if yellowbadbeast could just clean up the combo game and really just hone in those breaks, they can probably take a couple. And with Orcanos picking Hybrid 3, this could be scary again. We see another emergence of LNs, and this is pretty interesting too because this is the first time that Orcanos hasn't picked Rice. Again, seems like both of them don't really want to go for Voxel Adventure, don't want to see what the other has in store for them.
Yeah, for sure. I think they've had enough of the Rice. They've scoped each other out on that skill set. Don't really need to test the waters there anymore. They're gonna settle this like grown adults and basically take their lickings on the LNs and see what happens on the hybrids. We're going to get into hybrid 3 now. Orcanos again presented with the opportunity to capitalize on a break point to make it a match point situation now, and yellowbadbeast is going to do everything in their power to take that break point back and notch things up, make it a best of 3 if at all possible.
I like how you kind of envisioned that yellowbadbeast taking a miss, but like both of them fighting very hard on Rice, very close matches, and then both of them just getting whooped in the LNs. It's like, all right, we'll shake hands and then go into the hybrids. And I think Lancelot is proclaimed to be the easiest of the hybrids in terms of like skill set and difficulty. So we're gonna have to see if Orcanos can take a break in this match to trade out yellowbadbeast, because for now it has the AC and combo advantage.
Yeah, right now it's a tune of about 18,000 points as we transition on into the back half of the chart now. It's about 0.6%, one of the wider margins we have seen in this match so far. Not out of it just yet. We have seen some wild swings so far in this match and throughout this weekend as well. So definitely not over until it is over, but with this last third now upcoming, Orcanos looking very comfortable, but yellowbadbeast still trying to climb up in terms of accuracy now in that 98.4 range. If Orcanos isn't too careful and finds maybe a couple of dirty misses, could potentially swing this back, but that lead has only grown as we continue on here.
Yeah, it's very, very scary because I feel like this map doesn't really have too much of a spike. I mean, we saw the 1-4 streams come in 206 BPM, but that's nothing compared to what they've been dealing with in the Rice pool. And these LNs aren't too dense to the point where they have trouble with it. So, I mean, Orcanos is just absolutely killing this ending yellowbadbeast as well. But again, Orcanos is faring just much better. The two-handed chill, catching no one out, and Orcanos gonna finish off with a very clean 967.
Yeah, yellowbadbeast not too far behind, almost 950k to their name, but I mean it's been the tail of the tape so far, just not able to keep that 50 and miss column clean to put together a full run through to the end. And honestly, looking at the judgments, Orcanos would have potentially made it, or would have potentially won the map outright, but would have been a lot closer in this regard. But with that being said, it is going to be Yellow Bad Beast up to pick once again. Back against the wall situation here. Gonna need to make this one count.
And it's very, very scary if you're Yellow Bad Beast because, I mean, honestly, there aren't a lot of safe picks. You went 1 and 2 on the rice picks. You went 1 and 1 on the hybrids. Lost on the only LN chosen, and you are going for LN3. This is the density pick, and it's pretty scary because I think this is, you know, pretty accuracy oriented. I think both these players can FC this probably on command. It just really comes down to that accuracy, and with an OD of 5, should be pretty interesting.
For sure, there is no more room for error for Yellow Bad Beast going into this. Gonna need to take a break point as well if they do manage to win this pick. And Orcanos, at the very least, securing themselves a tiebreaker situation in this match.
Such a scary thought. This would be a huge upset for Orcanos if they can take it over Yellow Bad Beast. For now, as we get into these 1/4 LNs, seems like Yellow Bad Beast has a slight lead.
Yeah, faring a little bit better through this dense LN section. Orcanos actually finding the break before transitioning into the second quarter of the chart. Both of them trading back and forth on the anchors.
It's so scary because I think the density can jump very suddenly, especially with those camera clicks. I think Orcanos took that first break over there. Yellow Bad Beast still handling it pretty well. As I say, that is going to take a drop, so it's going to be traded back. I think pretty even misses overall, but Orcanos is one as well. And also the accuracy advantage. So Yellow Bad Beast coming out a little bit better. Orcanos a bit worse for wear.
Yeah, it just felt for long stretches of that first half they were just trading back and forth, and Yellow Bad Beast being the beneficiary of those trades for the moment. About 0.3% of an advantage as the anchors start to come out once again. Orcanos finding another drop, really not able to get their feet under them to try and mount any sort of comeback at the moment. Last quarter of the chart still left to come here, and as it stands, Yellow Bad Beast able to nurse this 30,000 point victor or 30,000 point advantage to a potential victory. And even with a couple of misses, or even if they were to find a couple of misses here, it probably wouldn't be enough. There's not a lot of map left here as we make our way into the last 8.
Yeah, I think this is the largest lead we've seen so far out of both of these players on any map, so it should be a pretty dominant win for Yellow Bad Beast. Very good showing, and it seems like density was the right choice for them. 34,000 point win, and honestly just beat Orcanos in every aspect on this map. Better 300 count, less 200s, less other miscellaneous bad judgments.
And Orcanos is going to jump back up into the rice pool, going to round that one out. It is going to be rice 1, so Voxel Adventure going to be the pick here.
Yeah, I think probably for Orcanos, they were banking on that to be kind of their ace up their sleeve if things went wrong on this pool, because again, they picked Hybrid 3 before this. So, I mean, Orcanos overall beat out Yellow Bad Beast on rice maps 2-1, but this is a different kind of patterning that we haven't really tested too much before. This is just straight streams, and it's 195 BPM for a pretty long time. There are a lot of different patternings in these streams, but we're gonna have to see how they fare on this, because right now it seems like Yellow Bad Beast is taking that accuracy advantage pretty early on.
Yeah, it's going to make a world of difference. This map only clocks in at just shy of 2 minutes, so not a lot of room for error. And similar to some of the other maps in this pool, some of these doesn't even come down to who blinks first and finds the first miss. It comes down to who can keep that 300 count as low as humanly possible. And right now, Yellow Bad Beast really starting to run with it, but finding the first break as they started to traipse across the columns there, and gonna bring them down just a little bit to Orcanos' level as they take the lead here. 4,000 points to their name with 2/3 of the map still left to go, and Yellow Bad Beast finding another break.
Yeah, that's going to make things really interesting halfway into the map. Yellow Bad Beast taking a total of 2 misses equalizing the accuracies. I feel like if they didn't take the second one, maybe things would have been like a little better. But I mean, with things how they are now, Orcanos with a 14,000 point lead and ever growing as Yellow Badbeast tries to get back up to the combo cap. I mean, it's the same. This last third is pretty much the same thing as what we've seen, just like very long staircases, a couple of running mans here and there. So I don't think there are really any tricks up the sleeve. It just matters if Orcanos can lock in and not miss for this last fourth.
Oh, and right on
Ow.
cue, there is the miss coming out from Orcanos, but it only puts a tiny dent in the lead they have built up. It shrinks to about 10,000 points. Yellow Badbeast might be running out of time here as we make the way into the last eighth. It does shrink down to about 4 digits, but it's going to need another couple of misses from Orcanos, and I don't think there's enough time for them to be able to capitalize. But as I say that, does find a miss, but finds the trade in return. The question of if they had enough time will remain unanswered as Orcanos punches their ticket into losers quarterfinals and knocks Yellow Badbeast out of MALT.
Yeah, huge win for Orcanos here. Really locked it in. Basically everywhere got a win in LN, got a win on hybrid, and dominated in the rice pool. So I mean, just a very good showing, and shows how kind of I guess malleable they are as a player. They can really adapt to anything. Definitely played their heart out, as well as Yellow Badbeast. Very close score, only 5-3. So I mean, it could have been anyone's game. A couple of misses swung some maps here and there. So good game and well played to both players, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. That very easily could have gone to tiebreaker if Orcanos did not keep that last map immaculate for the long portions of times that they were able to. And with that being said, that will do it for this match and for this block. We're going to take a little bit of a break, and we'll be back at about, I believe this one got rescheduled to 5 UTC. I'd have to double check with that, but the provisional time is going to be 6 UTC. If that one doesn't happen, then we have one at 7 UTC, so not long of a wait afterwards. But Diana, do you have anything else left to say?
Nothing other than the winner of this, which was Orcanos, is going to face the loser of Kazan / Shigitashi up in the winner's bracket. That's going to be later on this Sunday, I believe. And after that, I mean, after that 6-7 UTC block, we have a very large one spanning from 12 UTC to 20 UTC. So if you guys do have the time, make sure to check it out. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed, and we will catch you in the next one.